I'm Steye Hallema. As she said, I'm a creative director for John. My former job was working as a creative director for the VPRO Media Lab, where we did innovations in media. Um, I would really like to take you along in my thought process when creating virtual reality experiences. And I use a couple of my own examples to show you that. To give you a bit more context, I work for Jaunt. Jaunt is the global leader in cinematic virtual reality. Our goal is to become the Netflix of VR. And we are the global leader because we have, without bragging, I can say the best camera. It has 24 cameras with super high good sensors, and they're all synchronized, stitched into the clouds. All those images has to be put together. And then we have our content platform, which enables everyone with a smartphone in their pockets to experience high-quality cinematic VR. But in order to tell a good story in cinematic VR, we have to check, in my opinion, first what the medium really is. So let's look what it really is. And in my opinion, virtual reality is nothing more than just a technical trick. It's actually just a small screen in front of your eyes that sort of rotates perspectively, fitting with the rotation of your head. It's nothing more, but this technical trick gives the viewer the illusion that he is in another place, which completely changes the relationship with the viewer and the story, its characters, and the scenery. I think that was the picture that I had to tell about with the other thing. This different relationship makes storytelling a bit different. I would say that, like from proper storytelling, we sort of shift to share experiences, and I think this is an awesome example, like because they sort of swapped genders. The woman has the body of a man, and the man the body of a woman. Like only in VR you can do this. But to look at what VR really is, I think we should compare it to film. I think that's very interesting because it looks like it, but at the same time it does. It does not. Film is a wonderful art form that makes heavily use of shots. And actually those shots are put together. Those frames are put together like domino stones to tell a coherent story. For example, if the main character looks to the left and we see someone approaching, we all know now that that person is approaching the viewer. This doesn't really work in VR. You can cut in VR, definitely, but it's very confusing if you do this very rapidly. So my first conclusion is that we have to find new domino stones to progress a story in VR, to take the viewer from A to B. Yeah, you know what the game is? I really like finding these new domino stones because it forces me to think outside of the box. And I would like to show you an example of actually sort of a study I did in transitions in VR in a music video I made. If I press the button, will the movie play? Oh. That's one transition.
Bright indulgent energy, wet grass opportunity, hipster-matic summer nights, making golden memories. I wish I had a telescope in an ancient distant galaxy, so I could look and look again through my best of ever clarity. I went to.
This was actually a very lucky find because I was thinking about like progressing this experience in VR in the music video, and there was just a hula hoop there, and I was thinking about how do you wipe in VR. So I saw the hula hoop, put it over the camera, put it together in the computer, put it in my headset, and I was going like, whoa, this really works. The cool thing about it is actually that someone from the story is involving the viewer. Someone is really doing that to you as a viewer, like by putting that hula hoop over your head. Uh, but that idea, I thought it was very interesting. And then I thought, what if we use a virtual reality headset as a transition? That led to the VPRO Peep Show we made. And let me show you how it looks.
Dit is een virtual reality bril, VR. Dat klinkt futuristisch, hè? Is het ook. Maar wees niet bang, het is niet eng. Denk maar zo. Als jij je hoofd door een gat in de heg steekt, ben je dan aan de andere kant van de heg? Psst, kijk eens. Welkom aan de andere kant. Waar het gras groener is. Waar de werkelijkheid virtueel en de virtualiteit ontzettend werkelijk is.
All right, we stop now. I really like this choice because actually it made use of virtual reality itself as a subject of the story. The viewer was descending in deeper and deeper layers of reality, and I think reality is an extremely good topic to tell about in VR. But what both of those movies show is that we're actually, there's a point of view. I would like to state that in VR there's no frame, like in film, because the viewer is free to look wherever he wants. But actually there's a frame, and that's the field of view of the viewer itself. It's his or her point of view. To continue that comparison, these are all the point of view, or actually movies that make use of the point of view as a storytelling means, according to Wikipedia. There's not as many as I would have hoped for, but I think every aspiring VR storyteller should at least look through all of these. And there's a couple of really good ones, like Being John Malkovich and stuff. But if we are telling with a point of view that sort of states that there's someone's point of view we are sharing, and that brings me to the most important question I think a VR creator should ask himself or herself when thinking about VR. Who is the viewer? Whose point of view are we sharing? To emphasize this, in film, or mostly theater, you look through a frame inside the story, but in VR you are inside the story. So it's really important to know who this viewer is, I think, to tell a good story. And also to sort of like get into who this viewer is, I think it's very interesting to see how this viewer and the story relate to each other. What sort of contact could we make? Could we even maybe create conflict between the viewer and the story? To think about it, this contact we could make, I made sort of a list. I'm definitely not an academic, so it's not very scientific, but it helps my thinking a lot. Oh yeah, exactly. I think we could think about VR as, or the main viewer as the zeroist person. You are there, like a fly in a wall. The story evolves, but like it doesn't acknowledge you. I think this is very suitable for VR, but I think also like you should have this alarm bell thinking like, why not making a normal movie? Because they have so much more tools to progress the story. The second one up is the third person. This is an interesting one. In this case, the characters talk about the viewer, but they don't talk at the viewer. It's not a thing you would like use a lot in storytelling, I guess, but I'm telling about it because from tests it's proven that people that are encountering this situation actually feel shut out. You know, you really feel that like hurt a bit, which proves how strong this medium is. Like we really feel that we're there, and if we're not acknowledged, we feel sad. The second one is the second person. Or actually, it's the third one. This one is really interesting because you, as a viewer, are spoken to. It's acknowledged that you are in the story. This works really well in my case, in fiction, but also, of course, documentary, where a presenter just talks at you what's going on in the story. Let me give you an example. Oh, wait a second. But to address this viewer, I think it's very important to tell the viewer first who or he is to do it right. Again, this proves that we should really know who the viewer is. Let me give you an example. It's in Dutch again, I'm sorry, but I will translate what they say later.
Ja, oh, sorry, dat was ik even vergeten te melden.
Ja, wie is dit?
Ja, wie het is, weet ik niet precies, maar het is een nieuw projectje van het ministerie.
Oh, ik heb ook wel eens een projectje gehad op het ministerie. Niet zo heel lang hoor, was maar kort. Ook niet voor vast, gewoon een paar keer lekker, weet je wel. Maar goed, dat weet je ook wel, zo'n projectje duurt niet lang, maar wel lekker.
Ja, je kunt nu via een bepaald systeem meekijken op de Tasman, hoe het hier aan boord aan toe gaat.
Ah.
Dus dit is zeg maar een dagjesmens, een nieuwsgierig iemand, een botkijker. Juist, ja. Hallo aardbewoner, hoe maakt u het?
Maar gaan ze dan ook wel terugzeggen? Of?
Dat kunnen ze wel doen, maar dat horen wij dan maar niet.
This was a trick, of course. It was our limitation that people can't talk back in the story. So we acknowledged it. Like, we actually asked, like, can they talk back? Yeah, they can, but we won't hear it. Like, we used that in the story, which I personally thought was a very smart move. But it works, actually, because you as a viewer, you can surrender to the story now, because you know what the rules are. And I think, like, setting the rules, like, in the beginning of VR is a good thing to do, especially now when the medium is so young. The next one up is the first person. This is really like what I get excited about. You can become someone. In this case, last production we did with John is Inside Trump's Head.
Welcome to my head. I am Donald J. Trump, and I have the best brains. I've got the best synapses. You're lucky to be here.
President Trump,
That's me.
a lot on your plate today, leader of the free world and all.
Believe me, I am gonna make all the best decisions. Like, how about this new office? Instead of an oval, it's a rectangle in my own hotel. Way better than an oval. An oval, what is that? It's like an ovary. It's disgusting. What have you got?
We have the plans you drew up for Mount Rushmore.
You mean Mount Trumpmore?
Yes, see, well, that's the thing. The idea was to add your face to Mount Rushmore, but what you gave us was...
Well, that's great. What people want is Mount Trumpmore.
All right. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. The interesting thing about this one, as a storyteller, is that it creates 3 layers to tell the story with. And I think this could be a really good method to make sure that VR experiences are not made so literal. Like a lot of things you see now are like just a bunch of actors and you're there and it just happens like that. Because this way we can create different kinds of conflicts. You have the speech of the other characters in the story. They talk to the viewer, the main character. That main character can talk back. That can be a conflict, of course. Then we have the inner thoughts of the protagonist, which also can be in conflict with both of these. And I think especially having a conflict between the inner thoughts of the protagonists and the speech is very interesting. For example, like our main character, the viewer, is a guy, and there's this lovely girl, and he says, "Oh, you look lovely today," and in his voice you hear like, "But her breath stinks." Like that sort of things make you, as viewer, like wake up, like, what's happening now? And I think we really have to find these kind of ways to make VR interesting, to make our brains work, because that's what movies do as well. Like they juxtapose a shot to another shot, and you make the connection in your head. And I think that's actually the secret why film is so cool. You can, I'm finished. What was I saying? You don't have to use this, but I have learned that really thinking clearly about who the viewer is and how to address him makes me make better VR experiences. And it actually gave me a lot of great ideas, and I hope it will do the same for you. Thank you very much.